about to actually make money, And this plan of action that we're going to go over right now is, I would say, taken from about 40 agents, from my coach, like I said, who coaches the top 0.5% of the agents in the country. So she is super, super amazing. But we're going to go through this plan of action right now. Any questions, comments, concerns? Any questions, comments, concerns so far? All right. Look at the screen. This is how most agents handle their open houses, right? Remember how we talked about having a plan, having goals. This is what's happening with most agents for their open houses. They are going through and they are just going about open houses haphazardly. Showing up at a property, putting a sign in, doing no prep work ahead of time. Now, to have a successful open house, I'm going to tell you right now, it is very tiring and it takes a lot of work to have a successful open house. If you think that it's going to be easy to have a successful open house, it is not. It's probably going to take about 10 hours of work. About 10 hours of work to have a really good, successful open house. And I want to prepare you guys on the front end, because when it shows up, you're like, oh my God, how in the heck did I get involved in this? Why did I do it? Because everyone wants to be successful until they see the requirements for success. You guys know friends like that, right? Everyone wants to be great, but then they say, well, I got to wake up an hour earlier, I have to stand an hour later. I didn't sign up for that. Now, here's what we're going to have after today. This is going to be your path, your journey to a successful open house. Much different from this right here. Would you guys agree? Mm-hmm. So this is what we're going to have. Now we spoke about the open house weekend, South Florida open house weekend that's happening in September. So what's going to happen is we're going to see a lot of beautiful houses. There are going to be thousands of properties having open houses on that weekend. There are going to be thousands of open houses held open house weekend. I'm telling you guys that right now. And I know my wife, she loves the blue butterflies. Who loves the look of the blue butterfly? That's a beautiful, it's rare. Okay, right? That does not matter. That is not going to matter when it comes time for open houses every weekend. You do not have to be the most appealing, visually appealing property. You don't have to have the best price. You don't have to be in the best location. You just have to do something to make your listing stand out. Right? If you know you have a low price property, you need to get that low price or dilapidated property in front of as many potential investor buyers as possible. They don't want this. They might be looking for the blight in the neighborhood. But that's having those honest conversations, knowing what you are, knowing what your property is, knowing where you're positioned. Everyone okay with that? All right, so I don't want to discourage you. I want to encourage you. Do open houses. Don't wait until September. If you're doing an open house, let it be because it's a part of your marketing plan and not because you're out of ideas. All right, everyone promise? Mm-hmm. So do an open house, and do it to be proactive instead of reactive. Don't do an open house because you're losing the listing in 2 weeks or it's expiring, because it's not going to be as good as it should be. This is the South Florida Open House Search website. South Florida Open House Search website. Very, very appealing. This is a sexy looking website. I'm telling you right now. It's one of the best websites that Miami has. It's one of the best websites that Miami has. They actually put extra money into it because this is a consumer facing website. We know for us as agents, we'll deal with a lot of ugly crap if it gets the job done. The consumer, they need visually appealing. They want something that's going to pique their interest. You'll see right here, something I want to point out. You'll see right here where you can choose between English, Portuguese, and Spanish. English, Portuguese, and Spanish. The consumers can choose between English, Portuguese, and Spanish for the language. And then for the currency, I think there are maybe 20 or 30 different currencies that they can choose from. They can choose between square feet or meters, right? You guys know that the U.S. is only one of 3 countries in the entire world that still uses, square.
Yeah.
What is that? The standard?
Yeah.
Standard. One of only 3 countries. So think about this. Think about that when you are advertising or when you're promoting your listings. This website was designed by the people who create or Proxio. Anyone familiar with Proxio, the international website or the international service? So we're going to talk about some things that we can do differently based on your listing and your consumer base that's going to be coming to your properties that I guarantee is going to put you heads and tails above every other agent, every other open house that you attend.
Excuse me, is that website gonna be on the dashboard of the?
No, it's not on the dashboard because this is a consumer website. This is what the advertising, this is what Miami Association, I don't know if you guys know, but they're in the Miami Herald every week in the, Gladys. I was just showing Gladys, when you have a listing and when you check open house, everyone knows how to put an open house on their listing in the MLS, right? Anytime you can put open house in the MLS, it's going to come to this site. Even if it's today, not only for this September open house weekend, right? Not only for that, but anytime we put it on there, it's going here. What we used to have was an antiquated system where we would they stopped using it about 2 months ago, where we would get the emails of the open houses as agents that would come, and most of them were happening on, I think, it was Miami Beach. When were they doing it in Miami Beach? Wednesday, I believe. When there will be a lot of open houses and brokers open. But now this is going out to the public. So they're promoting South Florida Open House Search right now. And I think a week or next week or 2 weeks, they're going to begin promoting South Florida Open House Weekend.com.
Right.
It's going to be the same page, it's just going to be a different URL so we can track and measure the amount of traffic that we're going to be getting. Everyone okay with that? Any questions?
What is the email for that? And what is the?
South Florida Open House Weekend. South Florida Open House Weekend. It's going .com. So the one here says South Florida Open House Search. That's the one that's always up. That's the one that's always open. For our open house weekend, it's going to be South Florida Open House Weekend. It's going to be huge. You guys are going to see a lot of promotion around it.
My office is already promoting, putting a $30 ad and.
So, from this site here, when you click on view listings, if they put anything in here with the criteria, or if they just click on open houses, further down this page, if you scroll down, there are featured properties. These are the featured properties. Every week, 8 properties get selected to be featured on the website. And that is done. I'm going to tell you guys the criteria to get your property featured on the website. In Miami, it is almost impossible every week to find 8 properties to feature on the website.
Impossible to find?
It's almost impossible to find 8 properties to feature.
Why?
Because people don't follow instructions.
Okay.
First thing is, the most important photo that you can have in the MLS is going to be the first photo. The first photo. It is almost impossible to find a property that has an appealing first photo. We know that. Now, we as agents, we discount it because when we're going through a property, when we're going through a search, we'll go to property photo number 6. We know the first one is the back room or the kitchen or the bathroom, even if that's the case.
Yeah.
The vertical photos, which we hate, by the way, because it doesn't take up all of the space. We will click through or we'll click backwards through. The consumer, they are not going to do that. They're going to you have 7 seconds. You're going to look and see, okay, I like this, I don't like this, whatever it is, okay? The first requirement is that you must have at least one photo, but you need to have an attractive photo to get featured. I'm going to tell you today, if you guys follow these instructions here, I can almost promise, I can't guarantee, I can almost promise that your listing will be one of the ones featured in the next 2 weeks. That's how few people we have following instructions.
So if it's a condo, like for example, they only have that view in this one.
You have to decide what's an attractive first photo. That's something that, you have, what's going to make this sale? What is it? Is it the view? Is it the building? More than likely, it's not going to be the amenities, right? A fitness center is a fitness center is a fitness center, right? A pool is a pool is a pool, unless you have a pool here and you can see the pool, the patio area back here and the back of the house. right? So you want to look at things, you want to see things from the consumer's point of view. These are the first photos for 2 properties that are on the site right now. This one here, good photo. This one here. And this is a condo tower here. They put it in the MLS vertical. Even though we love vertical video on IGTV, vertical photos are not our friends in the MLS. If you don't do anything else, remember megaphone to the marketplace. That is a money-making phrase. Megaphone to the marketplace is a money-making phrase. I've probably, or my agents have probably beat you guys out on listings because we said megaphone to the marketplace. The second thing to remember is, do not put vertical photos, especially as the first photo in the MLS, because this is what you're going to get. Now, as bad as the photo is,
What do you mean vertical? That it
So,
comes out when
portrait.
you take it?
you don't want to take listing photos in portrait view for the MLS. Now, if you're doing it for for Instagram TV or for IG, whatever, do whatever you want, right? That's why if you're going to be taking photos, or your photographer, which we suggest, is going to be taking photos, then have them just spend the extra 10 minutes and get shots from both angles. Or have them do it in landscape and then create, crop the photo to make it vertical for those purposes. But we want to make sure that this is not your first photo. As bad as the photo is,
That's terrible.
we say it's terrible. Now, we're not the seller of a $1.7 million property. And that's what they're seeing. You would be upset, but guess what most sellers never see what their property looks like online.
I don't like it.
Mine all look online.
Right?
I went on and looked at it.
Now,
You told me.
so how do you know your seller looked online?
She called me yesterday, she texted me.
And what did she
She
say?
said, I saw the listing. The listing was good, I saw it yesterday.
Okay, so a way we do this is your second bonus, and this one is still free.
Yeah.
Make sure that before you launch a listing or immediately when you launch it, go ahead and take the time as soon as you allow the hour, 2 hours, or whatever. Take the time to send an email with links to Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia. Go in, you do the work. You do the work. Grab all those links. Put YouTube. If you're doing a YouTube video, if it's going to be LinkedIn, go ahead and put LinkedIn and then put the link here. If you're going to do Zillow, link there. I said, here's all the places where your property is marketed and advertised. If you see something that's wrong or that you don't like, let me know so I can change it. Right? Send them the MLS full view of the property. Send them the link to the MLS agent or the client view. Send them the link, send them more links than they possibly have time to look at. Why? Because if you disclose everything and if you give it, then you have a partner and they're not thinking, oh, a week later or 2 weeks later, hey, my friend saw it because I was their friend that season. My friend saw it, they said it's not even on the MLS, they say it's not even on Zillow, they say it's not here, they say it's not there. If you preemptive strike, if you go ahead and take that action up front, that will save you a lot of headache.
Don't most listings go on Realtor.com and then from there syndicate and all that?
No, that is up to your broker. Your broker has so talk to your broker, find out, because there are some brokers don't want them going to different places, some do, and we'll leave it at that. But that is a broker level decision. Each broker makes that decision on the syndication of their listings. All right, two more first photos. Right here, $780,000. This is what you get. Now, I don't know what you get as a property, but this is what you get as a photo.
Doesn't say much.
1.5 million. This is your first photo.
That's terrible.
Now, let me tell you the problem with this. The problem with the two of these are that when you see this photo right here for 1.5, you're not just seeing it here next to this one. If you're doing a search based on price, as most consumers will, you're going to see that 1.5 next to this 1.6 or this 1.3. Immediately, you've lost your shot. They will never go in and look at something else or see everything that the property has if you do that. To get your property featured, you need to have an agent photo. No silhouettes. This property cannot be featured. Great views, great property. Guess how much the listing price is? Almost $1.4 million. This was taken last night. This was taken last night from the website. I went on. $1.4 million property. Agent does not have a photo. Now your contact info as an agent goes right here. It's going to go here. I just write it out because I didn't want Noah's name right there. That's why I did it. I'm just kidding. It is not Noah. I promise. Noah's like, I wish. Hey, that would be something we would get fixed right now. We would have got that fixed between the break if that was you, Noah. So agent photo has to be there. Now you're probably going to ask, where do I put my agent photo? I'll show you that in 1 second. If this is you, is that Noah? No, that's not Noah. Okay. Or if you know him, don't say his name. This property here is a $2 million property. Photo.
Wow.
When you compare it here, there are requirements that Gladys and I, that I just showed that they're going to have when you put it into the matrix. There are requirements that they mandate or that they suggest that you have for the pixels and the resolution. Follow the instructions. Don't use a photo that has been texted to you or whatever that you took on your phone. Now, phones have great high quality photos, but you need to email that to yourself so you can get that one, not the reduced size. Okay? Everyone okay with that? Because what you don't want is, you don't want to have a beautiful property, your photo here, your contact info here, and then a seller say, oh, that's Noah. I'll never call Noah because he can't have, professional looking photos of himself. You guys understand why that's important? Okay. This is how you are going to put your photo, a high resolution photo, into Matrix. You're going to go, you're going to first click on home. So this is not inside of a property add edit. So in Matrix, you'll see over here, there's an add edit button. You're going to click on the add edit button in Matrix. After that, you're going to come here under roster, not listings. I've had people try to do it under the listings and say, hey, my name isn't coming up, where you're not a listing. Hopefully you aren't selling yourself. You guys, okay, never mind. I told you they get worse. Okay, so right here, under roster, you're going to put your info in, your license number. Your license number or agent ID, you're putting that in there and you're going to click edit. When you click edit, it's going to come say modify agent, and you want to manage photos. Or you might begin just by making sure your agent information is correct as well. Yes, ma'am.
So these photos where you're showing us here, isn't when we go to Matrix first time, we set our information, we have a photo for us?
Yes.
Is that the same thing you're
Yes.
talking about?
Yes. So the issue is, but you're newer, so you're new in the industry. And for those of us who have been in the industry for a while, they just added add edit section. So we didn't have that when we started. It would be under My Matrix. You guys can go in, the same thing.
Right.
So that's a way, but double check just to make sure because technology is fickle. All right. So you want to make sure that you come in here, make sure your agent information is correct. There's nothing worse if you've changed brokerages or if you have an old phone number, change phone number, use a Google Voice number, whatever it is, for someone to try to buy or try to contact you for your $1.3 million listing so you can two-side it and they get me on the phone. And I'm going to feel so bad. I promise I'm going to feel so bad if they call me instead of you. Make sure that you update your agent information and manage photos. Once you do that, you're going to see here, and this is what I was talking about. It's going to say you can order, but the most important part, for maximum quality, upload photos at least 1131 by 1691 pixels in size. You want to make sure that you have a photo in there so that when it shows up, it is clear, because that's going to be next to, hopefully, professional high-res property photos. If you have a great first photo, of the listing, and if you have a great agent photo, I can almost guarantee in the next 2 weeks your listing will be, if you're having an open house, it's going to be featured on that open house page. and the amount of traffic that you're going to get. I spoke to Denver yesterday, we had about a 30-minute meeting. The amount of traffic that they are getting to the site and then to the open houses is the highest traffic that agents and brokers have gotten to open houses in 3 years. It is crazy amount of traffic, and if you're featured in that 8, you can expect to get a ridiculous amount of traffic. So now we're going to go through the checklist of how to turn our open houses into a success. Everyone okay with the photos and understanding why it's important? And that's for this site. Now I'm going to also ask that you go into every portal that you have. Whether it is Zillow, Trulia, LinkedIn, Zillow Group, wherever it is, make sure all your information is accurate and correct. All your information is accurate and correct. So this is the amazing open house action step. So the action plan, here it is right here, and we're going to go through these, and I want input from you guys. Now I have broken every rule in the book when it comes to, and you guys will get this, have access to this via your email, or I'm sorry, via your computer when I give you the link where everything is. Because I know, if you guys notice on the rest of my slides, as an instructor, you're not supposed to have more than 3 words and all that. So I think I beat 3 words just by a couple letters here, right? But the reason I wanted you guys to see this is that there are specific things that we do before.
You said you're gonna give us all this?
Yes, so all this you guys will have before an open house. This is where I said it is going to be work. It is not easy to have to do a successful open house, but it will be worth it. Select a date, preferably 2 weeks out. And you want to confirm that with the seller. At least 2 weeks out, because for us to do an effective open house, even if no one shows up, remember, we want to make sure that we have a fantastic open house, and this is what's going to, now all of this happens before the open house. I want to stress that. So we're going to have before, during, and after. Before, you want to select a date. If you're going to do postcards or mailers, go ahead and order them and have them in the mailboxes 3 days prior to the event. 3 days is a key number, because you don't want it so old that people throw it away, but you don't want it hitting the day before your open house where people are like, oh, I'm already booked and I already have something else to do.
So you might want to do it on Monday?
Depends on when your open house is. So this is something I want you guys to think about. Every open house does not have to be on the weekend.
Oh, no.
Okay? So think about that. Think about the time that if you're going to do every door direct mail, if you're having your postcards sent directly from the printer, ask them about the production time. Ask them how long it's going to take to get it mailed out. Because we may think that 2 weeks is enough. If your printer has a three-week lead time, I don't know why they possibly would. If they do, you should get a new affiliate or a new partner. But these are things that you want to think about. Create property packets. All right? Create a property packet. What is a property packet? A property packet is anything and everything that a buyer or a potential seller should know about the property. Right? And this is going to be, now we're talking about the activities and the things that are going to make every open house successful. A property package should include property photos. So I use a lot of RPR. Who uses RPR? Use RPR, and I'm going to tell you why. RPR is the cheapest, least expensive, meaning free to us thing, and it makes you look like an uber professional. With the photos they use, the reports they have and everything that you can plug in, and it's free, easy, and it's right there on your dashboard, and we also have RPR mobile. So you want to create a property packet. What else could be in the property packet? You want to have tax information. If you have any blueprints, you want to shrink those down and have those in there. And don't tell me, Neil, the price of the property is, determines how much I have in my pocket, in my packet. It does not. If you're selling a $200,000 place, a $70,000 place, if it's going to be an investor, they are going to appreciate the work you put in, because we're not doing it for the buyer. We're doing open houses for the other sellers. If you do, it's easier to work with buyers than it is for sellers. I know the buyers are like, what? You must not have met my seller, my buyer lady. They're crazy. But it's easier to work with buyers and to work with sellers than it is with buyers in the fact that for business, it's easier to work with listings than buyers. But it's easier to get into the buyer business than the listing business. Two different things. Easier to get in with the buyers than it is the sellers. But it's more time productive and effective when you get listings. So that's why we have the property packets. You want to have in there, in your property packet, any renovations that were done, any receipts, any warranties that were done for the work. If they have travertine, I want my sellers to tell me the story of the property, and then I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that in this packet. Okay? If you guys, like, who here watches HGTV, $1 Million Listing, all that, right? I take some of the pertinent stuff away from there, like naming the properties. I feel like every property should have a name. Like we name our cars, right? You name, oh yeah, like my car's name is Jimmy. And the reason, I'll tell you guys why. My car's name is Jimmy because it's a Kia Soul, right? So I drive a Kia Soul. I named it Jimmy because in, what's the movie? Dreamgirls. You guys remember Eddie Murphy was Jimmy Early? It is Jimmy got soul, Jimmy got soul, Jimmy got S-O-U-L soul. So I said Jimmy Soul, right? So I put it together so my car's name is Jimmy, right? So now with my properties, every one of my listings, I give a name. It's not just the exquisite properties. I name my properties and I help my sellers, I let my sellers help me say, hey, does your house have a name? Yeah, can't wait to get rid of it, whatever it is. Ask your sellers to name their property, and then we're going to refer to the property by name. When you're writing your copy for open houses and for in the descriptions, we don't want 2-bedroom, 2-bath, all of this. We're going to take the story that the seller tells us about Jane, or if it's the dragon's lair, whatever it is, and we're going to write a story as if we are putting an ad for a dating service, right? Write your copy for open houses as you're putting an ad for a dating service for the house, right?
So you put the name?
So yes, I put the name of my property in the listing, right? I will put what I'm looking for. I'm not giving you the basic stuff that you can get off an MLS spreadsheet. I don't want that. I want the story because we make buying decisions emotionally, right? So I want someone to know what the story is behind the house, because everything we do for our open house is going to be built off of the conversation we have, and that's what's going to go into our property package. Everyone okay with that?
You're gonna put the traffic store?
No, so that's something that you want to make a decision about. That's something you have to decide. Some people love places like Edgar Allan Poe, right? So whatever, like you have to decide with your seller. And the reason, and we do this twofold. One for the buyer, but more so for the sellers, because if a seller sees that they have a part in the process, they're going to be much more understanding if it doesn't sell. I got in the business, I was in the business in 2007, 2008 when, after everything had gone down, 2009, where we were holding properties for a year and a half that weren't selling, and our sellers were thrilled. Our sellers were thrilled with the service they were receiving, right? The properties weren't selling, they weren't thrilled about that, but in that period, we never lost, we lost a couple, but the majority of our listings we kept because we went through and they were part of the process. So when we're doing our open house, we want to think the same thing here. Prepare a buyer and seller book. Who here is currently using a buyer and seller book?
What are you talking about?
A buyer and seller book